43rd special meeting of the Board of Directors.
Christine.
Here.
Shannon.
Here.
Katie. Dave. Tanya.
Here.
Toby. And Rory.
Here.
All right.
So we're going to start off with a presentation, 6th grade move.
Do I need a microphone or is this good? I'm good, right?
Yeah.
If you end up not hearing me, let me know and then I'll put the mic in my face. I was told that a chat GPT'd it earlier, if I play upbeat music and I throw candy at the crowd, that you'll all be favorable tonight. So I got candy, we got upbeat tunes. I want to thank you all for being here, and the board thanks you as well. We've been having conversations about a possible move of 6th grade for several years now as a school staff. Ever since 7th and 8th grade were moved here to this building, it's always been the desire to have 6th grade join the middle school as well. And for a variety of reasons, mostly with space and that type of thing in both buildings, we just never had the opportunity. Until this year, and I'm going to share some information with you, and obviously allow you to ask questions, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. So hopefully your questions are answered by the end of the night here, and the board may or may not take action tonight depending on how things go and if everyone's questions are answered. But we'll try to do our best to make sure that we give some time for everyone. First thing, we come in peace. All right, so we're not all going to have the same mindset behind this, and that's okay. It's okay that some of us want this to happen, some of us do not want this to happen. That's okay. But at the end of the day, we just want to do right by kids, and in that nature, we're just. It's all good. It's all peaceful, and we're good. Meeting norms. We're going to respect others' opinions. We're going to have an open mindset, growth mindset. We're going to share airspace. I tend to dominate the airspace. I promise to allow other people to talk if they want to and speak. Just by nature, because I'm presenting, I will take up a lot of that airspace, but I'll try not to be so dominant. Keep in mind what is best for students and trust that the school board will make the best decision for kids. So first off, why is 6th grade even being considered? I alluded to it a little bit earlier. It's been a desire, but let's get into some of the reasons why. First off, learning standards by nature are grouped 6 to 8. And for school staff, that's kind of like the roadmap to teaching kids. And when you have a grouping at Fort Kent Elementary, where in C-Wing you have 4th, 5th, and 6th, there's a huge disconnect between where 4th and 5th leave off at the elementary standards and 6th grade picks up. And then you have that gap of however many feet between the two buildings for 7th and 8th grade. By nature, kiddos do not all learn at the same pace, the same time. So you have some students that pace faster, and as a 6th grade student, they may need to get into 7th and 8th grade standards. A little bit harder when you don't have access to 7th and 8th grade teachers. We make it work a little bit, but not as best as we can do. And the same thing for students that struggle, although we have a lot more supports in place for struggling learners with our title programs and our special ed program. With acceleration, we don't have as many, but we're improving in that area. So the learning standards, just by nature, and that's for the teaching staff in here, that means a lot to them. And I have a did you know? I'm not going to read it to you. I'll let you. I have fun facts in here. So by nature, elementary standards are foundational, and middle school standards, we start getting into the application of knowledge. That's just by nature how things work with the standards. Aww. Aww. found, I think I was like 9 or 10. I couldn't find a picture of me. No, I was older than that. I must have been 11. So, age appropriate. Too old for elementary school, too young for high school. Where does your 12-year-old fit best? Current age range at FKES is 4 to 12, it's an 8-year span. Current age range here at VRMS is currently 12 to 18, so it's a 6-year span. So those 6th graders are the tweeners. That's right in the middle of you know, where to fit in. The truth is, some 6th graders absolutely belong here, just because of maturity and because of you know, a lot of different things. And some absolutely could benefit from staying behind. So no two kids are the same, and we understand that. But absolutely, it is a challenging. Now I'm gonna give you a depressing fact here. 3rd grade is halfway to graduation. When your kid is 9, they're halfway to graduation. I know that's depressing. As the father of 20-year-olds now, it's super depressing. I definitely wasn't thinking about that when my kids were in 3rd grade. But 3rd grade's halfway to graduation. 9 is half of 18. No tears, that's good. I'm sorry. Did you know? So there's all kinds of different configurations of middle school. Some go as low as 5th grade. Actually, Van Buren has 5th grade in their middle school. And then, you know, there are different configurations. 6 to 8 seems to be the most popular. And then you do have these junior high schools that are sometimes 7 to 9. And at the end of the presentation, I'll show you what schools around us in Aroostook County are doing, just so you get a sense of what's happening in other schools. So we also have, you know, some strong opinions about the middle school concept for those kids that are of that age, 12, 13, 14, getting them ready for high school. So switching classes, different student groupings, multiple teachers, helping students grow out of childhood into adolescence. And I know, I hear the fact that we shouldn't be speeding kids, you know, getting older faster. I totally get that. I totally get that. But the fact is we need to, as school staff, prepare them to be successful as high schoolers. And the sooner we can start doing that for us, we feel like we're doing a better service to them. Stepping stone to develop their own pace and equitable instructional time across disciplines. So there's a lot of equity that goes into middle school programming. If you've ever been in the same room with a 12-year-old for more than 45 minutes, you know that it's a breath of fresh air, literally, for them to switch classes every now and then. And it's good for the kid, and it's good for the staff members as well. Because not all kiddos get along with teachers the same way, and they look forward to that teacher that really gets them. So that's important as well. Oh, I already read that one, sorry. So there are studies that do show that elements of middle school can lead to improved student performance, and you could also find the flip side of studies that say middle school is detrimental. Again, no two kids are the same, and I think it largely plays on where your schools are, who your school staff are, and how they best support your students. If you don't know this Valley Rivers Middle School staff, they are rock stars. They are absolute rock stars. And we have nothing but confidence in them, in addition with some 3 Fort Kent Elementary teachers who are going to be joining them to really look out at what's best for your kids. Other considerations, easier access to sports, better opportunity for our band to grow. The younger that we can start them, the more success we'll have with that. Increased equity and special education caseload in each building. Space consideration, and we'll talk about that real shortly, about some of the big moves in this process. Streamline guidance services. Right now, Ms. Tammy is the middle school guidance counselor. She spends part of her day in that building, runs to this building, and she does that all week long, all year long. It'd be nice to have Ms. Tammy just parked here, serving her kids all day. valid student enrollment in each school, and then the sixth grade does allow for us to have some moving parts. So here's the big picture for us this year. In order to move grade 6 to VRMS, we need to create space in this building. I know that some of you probably came to high school here, and you probably had class sizes of 100 or even more, and you all fit in here, but somehow now we don't fit in here with half the student population. We captured a lot of learning space with office space, and we want to capture that back. We want to grab it back. So in order to create space, we need to move adult ed out of the building and create some classrooms where the adult ed office and conference room are, and we're going to create 3 classrooms in that space. After this presentation, if you want, Mr. Doucette has volunteered to walk you around to kind of show you where things are going to fall if this is approved, just so you get a sense of what middle school looks like versus the high school and where things will end up being. In order to create space, we need to move adult ed out of the building and into Chippy. In order to move adult ed into Chippy, we need to move the Early Learning Center, that's our daycare center, out. And in order to do that, we have a partnership with ACAP that they would be willing to take over our Early Learning Center and move their pre-K classroom to FKES. So we have a cooperative classroom at the Chippy Center where sometimes, not this year, but like last year, we had some pre-K students actually at the Chippy Center. We want to move them right into Fort Kent Elementary so we don't have a distinct classroom way over there at the ACAP Center. They would come in, be across the hall from or adjacent to our current pre-K. With all of these moving parts, we can make this happen. And so this is part of the big picture of why this year we're talking about it, because all of these things came together at the right time. And also, Fort Kent Elementary staff say the current group, grade 5 students, are a great group to try to get this done with, just because they're a really wonderful, close group that supports one another, and they really feel like that's a great cohort to try this in year 1. So we did survey folks, and I know that the survey seemed biased because we front-loaded the positives. That's because we brainstormed all the positives together that we felt as a school staff and put that in the survey in order to help share that. But we did want to collect additional positives as well as the things that are concerning to folks. We took all of that data, dumped it into AI. AI gave us a summary of findings, and it prioritized what the pros and the cons were. So the top pros were curriculum alignment, improved access to extracurriculars, better preparation for middle school expectations, improved resource allocation, social benefits, consistency in teaching approach, and more opportunities for academic rigor. And then the cons, a lot of concerns about maturity and emotional readiness, exposure to older students, loss of childhood elements. Recess was a big one, losing recess, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. Classroom environment and support, and that was more around losing the homeroom and losing your homeroom and not having that homeroom teacher. Transition and implementation details, space allocation, a lot of concerns about is there enough room here, and we believe that there's adequate room here to make this happen. And then concerns for students with developmental delays. So we wanted to take some of the concerns, questions that were most prevalent and try to answer them out. So the first one, will my sixth grader get grouped with high school students? I'm going to start by saying the start of this year, we messed up on this one. We had 2 sessions of phys ed where we had high school students and middle school students in the same space doing activities together. That was not something that was supposed to happen in the past when we've double booked those periods. The curtain here was supposed to come down, and phys ed is supposed to be separated between middle school and high school. It is currently like that now. Those classes are no longer mixed. If one group is using the entire gym, let's say the middle school, then the high school will go use the equipment room, or they'll divide up the 2 spaces. No other classes are we going to mix middle and high school students. Phys Ed is that only one that sometimes, because there's only one gym, it gets double booked. But we're going to do our best to make sure that we stay true to not mixing the groups. Who's that? Oh, you're on. Different lunch period, different recess period. There will be a recess. It just looks a little bit different, and we'll talk about that. So total separation as best we can for the students. Concerned 6th graders may not be mature enough or emotionally ready to go on to middle school. That's true, and we talked about it earlier. Some kids will be, some kids will not be. But we'd like to put some supports in place in order for those kids who are going to struggle or we feel may struggle. We do have a plan in place. Most 12-year-olds are already beginning puberty and undergoing changes that the majority of elementary children are not experiencing. Every kid is different. Maturity and emotional readiness continued. We'll be looking to implement individualized transition plans, which are designed to support students who may not be emotionally or socially ready. My mother's trying to call me. The plan ensures that gradual adjustment, targeted support, and support for students to succeed in the new environment. I want to show you what that looks like. So it'll be a document where a parent can sit down with Ms. Tammy, talk about the concerns, maybe it's emotional maturity, anxiety about their students, and then a plan we put in place with regards to pre-transition. So we'll do some school visits, we'll assign mentors, we'll have some parental involvement. Then when school starts, gradual introduction, some safe check-in zones. So putting a plan together that's really going to support your child that may struggle, so that they know who to go see when they have some of their biggest issues. They know where to go, and they know where some safe areas is for them. Go, Mr. Riggy. And also with that, Ms. Bernier will be available at FKES during the parent-teacher conference this Thursday, all day, for the entire conference. She's not going to go between the 2 buildings, so if you want to stop in and talk to her about one of these, that would be the right time to do so, or at any time between now and next school year, of course. My child has been in RISE since grade 4, and will lose 1 year of RISE if 6th grade moves. The truth to this is we don't know yet what's going to happen with RISE. A lot of different discussions. Obviously, yes, if your child's in RISE grade 5 and the 6th graders get moved, they won't be in that cohort, but maybe something can happen here at VRMS with regards to a RISE-like type of thing. It all depends on what staff are willing to do, and I know that, as I said before, this is a great staff, and so they may want to think about doing something like that. Only time will tell. So no absolute answer to that one because there's so many unknowns, but we're definitely willing to support a certain kind of learning that works for some children. How are middle school students and high school students separated in the building? So the way it's going to look, well, the way it looks right now, she's persistent. I guarantee she has a technology question. Essentially, almost all of the upstairs is going to be middle school. And if you want to join Mr. Doucette later, he can show you. With the exception of the very end of the hallway, there's going to still need to be a few high school classrooms. But if you remember what that looks like, there is a stairwell going right above where the library is. That will be the high school only stairwell. to those classes at the end of the hall. The middle stairwell and the first stairwell will be VRMS stairwells because the majority of upstairs will be middle school classrooms. So almost entirely upstairs middle school, and then downstairs there are no middle school classes with the exception obviously of phys ed. Health is actually going to be the one classroom that's currently the senior room in the middle of the superintendent's hallway. So that's pretty much separated from the rest of the high school, and art and French. But French is also going to be upstairs, so that's going to be fun. So separated as best we can. Concern, I'll have 11, 12-year-olds with 18-year-olds. Oh my God. But right now we have 4-year-olds with 12-year-olds. You know, at some point, and I said before, 6th grade is that tweener. We put pre-K and 12th graders on buses every day. And what we observe is the older kids set expectations for the younger kids. And I know that we have concerns about 6th graders being exposed to high schoolers and their culture. It's our observation, and I know all of you have seen maybe a TikTok or a Instagram reel of a girl cat fight maybe here in the hall. Truth of the matter is I've been superintendent for 9 years. There's probably been a handful of fights in this school. They are always girls. Always girls. I have not seen a male fist fight in this. I don't think there's been one since 2005. Our observation, and Mr. Chenard and Mr. Doucette can both attest to this, when you go into the office and see who is on, who's next in line to go see Mr. Doucette or Mr. Chenard, it's usually a middle school student. Our high school students really set example. And as superintendent of a school district, your neighbor school district at SAD 33, where they had to move every kid at Wisdom Middle High School, pre-K to grade 12 under one roof, those high schoolers really, really stepped up and set the expectation. And they really support the younger learners. So we're not concerned with 6th graders seeing bad behavior from high schoolers. We actually feel like the high school really sets the tone for expectations. Not enough space. We talked about this. We do believe, I know the seniors, some of the seniors answered on the survey that they didn't want to lose their senior room. I just mentioned that we're taking the senior room, but what I didn't say is we're making a new senior room in the classroom that's right near the band room. It's too loud for the health class that's currently there when band is playing, so we feel the seniors will fit right in. So we're not taking the senior room away from the seniors, and we do believe students will all fit. Another thing that we're considering for those of you that have had kiddos go through 9th grade, we have a program called Link Crew, where 9th graders are connected with seniors, and it's like a mentorship program where the senior students are there throughout the whole year for the new 9th graders. Link Crew has a middle school program called WEB, Where Everyone Belongs. We would like to send 2 of our staff members to go get trained in this spring, and we would like to bring WEB to the school so that when your 6th graders start, they're going to be connected with an 8th grader who's going to be their mentor, big buddy, and take them under their wing and support them through the school year. WEB is a whole year long. It's got a whole year long, so it's not just the start of the school year, they get a buddy and then, all right, good luck and we'll see you. Throughout the entire year, the mentors and the mentees do activities and have a whole curriculum around those supports. We see the success with our freshman students, so we're pretty excited for our 6th grade students as well. I promise I'm almost done. Other districts around us with 6 to 8 groupings, Presque Isle has their own school, 6 to 8. Ideally, that would be awesome if we could do that. It's just not a reality at this time. Caribou just made their new community school, and the upstairs is entirely 6 to 8. Fort Fairfield is 6 to 8. Washburn, 6 to 8 wing of their elementary school. Madawaska Schools just added grade 6 in 2023, and it's been really good when they added 6th grade. It created that full middle school feel, and that staff over there is rocking it as well. Van Buren is a 5 to 8 middle school where they're grouped together, and they're actually a pre-K to 12 school. So is St. Agatha, but grade 6 did move last year into the middle high school wing. So grade 6 is now part of the middle school. And then Ashland, in their newer school, has 6 to 8 occupy half of the upstairs, with 9 to 12 on the other half. So we're in good company. Just a few schools that aren't doing it. And I think Holton was one of the ones that I found that's not doing it. And there may be some others, but these are definitely the ones that have 6 to 8 moving. If this continues, so we're in March, we're hosting this parent informational meeting. We've already done the survey. We've already formed a task force of stakeholders. We had a small parent group and teacher group that came together to come up with a survey and also talk about much of this. If we continue, we'd like to start formalizing our staff as early as next week, but definitely by April. Begin working on the individualized transition plans for the kiddos who need one, and then send our staff to WEB training. In May, we're going to set up a step-up day to be conducted so that all current 5th and 6th graders, both groups that will be coming here, get a step-up day and meet their VRMS teachers. And then this summer, sending out schedules and then offering a chance for folks to come in even before open house and walk around and ask questions. We definitely would like to offer that to all of you. Teaching middle school is an adventure, not a job. That's a quote from Angela Bennett. Here's my quote. 2 kinds of superheroes in a school: bus driver and middle school teachers. Those jobs do not pay enough. So I thank you. Now I'd like to open it up to questions you have, concerns. I don't want to be the only one answering, so staff here, if there's a question that you feel that you are that you feel comfortable answering, please help me in offering that to the folks. Anybody have a question? Yes.
So 2007 graduated, we were 120. I'm aware, obviously, the communities are getting smaller. Allagash and everybody's now coming down. What is an average size currently?
60.
60? Yes.
Minus the
What's that?
juniors. I said minus the juniors.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and then the freshmen is
Yeah, they're a bubble class, but yeah, the average class right now is 60, and it's pretty consistent. Freshmen are in the 40s.
Freshmen are in the 40s currently.
But and the juniors were like, what, 80? Yeah.
We had one baby boom year and then we kind of slacked off again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still in that.
So it seems like we're plateaued at around
We're
60.
plateaued all the way to current kindergarten. Current pre-K is a low number, and from pre-enrollment numbers, it looks like next year's pre-K might be small. So those are in the 30s.
Oh, wow.
Madawaska's average class size is less than 30, and you know what we need? We need like a community school. Just kidding. Just kidding. Folks, I know you got questions. I really would like to take some.
The lower numbers, like we had 4 classes per grade level at 120. Like theoretically, less students, then yeah, there should be open rooms. There should be a whole lot of open space if we're still keeping 25 kids per room.
And yeah, we're not
We're
going to
not.
ever have 25.
The numbers are not what they used to be. Okay.
No, but if I would try to put any more than 16 or 17 kiddos in a class, and we do it every now and then, but it becomes very difficult to based on what we're trying to ask of kids today, and also just all of the difficult degree factors. We have a lot more special ed classrooms than we used to, so we utilize a lot of space for that as well. Plus, we utilize the schools now. We have OT, PT, and all those things are in school. So a lot of those spaces have been captured. This school took up a lot of space, classroom space with office space. And so we're trying to take that back in order to make this happen.
And we added grade 7 and 8 a few years ago.
Right. And this used to be a 9 to 12 school, and now it's a 7 to 12 school. As for Fork Hill Elementary, you know, we all of the other elementary schools closed, so now everyone goes to Fork Hill Elementary. So you don't have students at Wallagrass and Eagle Lake and St. Francis anymore. So that's why that building is busting. Right. I will say, I don't know how you made it work in this building with class sizes of 120, because this is a relatively small high school for those type of numbers. Whereas you go into a high school like Madawaska or Prescott, huge, huge, huge buildings. So kudos to you guys for making that work.
Everybody had their own way.
Did. You did.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like when the sixth grade, well, if they, your model, will sixth grade switch with seventh and eighth grade teachers? Will it be a total middle school concept?
I could try to make up an answer that sounds good, but I don't know what works in Tammy Burney's brain.
Okay.
But she makes that work, and I don't question it at all.
Like will, like sixth grade students, like transition to like a seventh grade teacher? Or to an eighth grade teacher? Will they all switch, or will you just keep it like grade 6 will stay grade 6?
So what I'm gonna try to do the best I can is to have the teachers teach what they're used to teaching as far as the teachers that are already here.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the teachers that are coming, it'll be a little bit harder because they're used to teaching all the subjects. So they'll mostly be with sixth grade teachers based on like a template that I have in my brain. But we'll need to be able to use other teachers as well for some of the subjects in order to make that work. So there may be an eighth grade teacher that might teach a sixth grade group.
Okay.
If that's what your, is that what your question is? Is that what your question was? Is
Yes,
that-
because
is
I
that
had
answer
some
it?
students that were asking, you know,
Yeah.
what's it gonna look like, so I said, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
so
But
they
then
won't
there's
be
always
in
two eighth
classes
grade
with
students,
seventh and
so
eighth
students
graders
will
though.
be-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they'll still
Okay.
be just sixth graders with sixth graders.
Okay.
But will they have a teacher that you're used to teaching eighth grade? Possibly, to be able to cover all the subjects.
But it'll only be sixth grade students.
Only sixth grade students. The only time that they are mixed even right now is for electives. And so they might have phys ed with an eighth grader. They might have art, you know, with a seventh grader. But as far as their core classes will all be with just their grade level.
Thank you.
So here at this building, we don't have homerooms, but throughout the school, they have something called warrior time. So there's a dedicated time during the day, I believe it's right before lunch?
Yep.
Right before lunch, where they go to their warrior time. That's kind of like their home base. That's where their warrior time teacher is kind of like their mama and papa bear. And so when as parents, you know, if you're used to messaging homeroom teachers right now with concerns and that type of thing, you're going to have the warrior time teacher to do that, because that's where they're going to meet every day and you know, build those relationships in that period of time. Ms. Tammy?
And the only other thing I want to add is sometimes right now we do have eighth graders who have seventh grade students who have advanced in math. And so then you might have it in a core class. But for the most part, the majority of the students are with their grade level.
And as teachers, we've all agreed to be flexible and be willing to teach outside what we normally teach so that we can make this work.
What are the subjects that the middle school rotates through? I got 2 elementary schoolers, so I don't know the middle school.
So their core is math, English, science, and social studies, so they'll have that every single day. And then we run on quarters, so they are required to take certain classes, like they have to take phys ed, they have to take, right now, for our seventh graders, they take a career ed class, they take French, and they take music. So we don't know what the sixth grade will have for required classes just yet, because we have to see what we have for staff and what makes sense. But those we rotate per quarter. And so they have that. So that covers about 5 of their 6 periods. And then they have the opportunity to either choose an elective that might be offered, you know, during a free period, or we also have support labs that we put them in. So if your child is struggling in math, I'm gonna try to put them in a math lab with a math teacher to help them with that math class. And so they end up having those 2 periods where they have their math class and then a math support lab. And that's usually recommended by the previous teacher. We look at their STAR scores. If they're struggling in the math class and they weren't before, Miss Mary might send me a message and say, hey, I think we need to put so-and-so in a math lab, that kind of thing. So there's not a lot of elective opportunity because there's not a lot of room in the schedule for it. Right now for electives, we're offering art. Kids can take extra phys ed because we have kids who don't like only having it for a quarter. We have a Legos class. We have a classic literature class that they can take. So those are just some of them that they're able to take. And then the math, like I said, they can have a lab, but we also have an advanced math class too. So.
I know there were a lot of concerns with phys ed in the survey. I just want to paint a picture of what, not phys ed, excuse me, of recess. I want to paint a picture of what recess looks like here. Obviously not the same at Fork Elementary, but after lunch, because there is a separate lunch period from high school, they will open the gym entirely for the students. Students can also stay in the cafeteria, and during the spring and fall when it's nice out, they also open the doors outside from the cafeteria where, you know, there's a basketball court and green space and that type of thing, so they have opportunities for outside recess as well. We don't have them go outside in the winter just because of the mess and all of that. If you've ever seen a 6th grader outside of recess at FKES, they're too cool for ski pants anyway. So they like to, you know, the ones that like to shoot hoops, the ones that like to mingle. So it is very active. Mr. Doucette, Mr. Chenard are on duty every day, making it happen. So they do have an activity period that follows their lunch period. Just, you know, not snow forts and that type of thing, but, you know, something a little more middle schoolish. So that's what that looks like here. Any other questions? I really have confidence in this VRMS staff. I think they're excited, they're pumped. They've been asking for 6th grade for years. We've been making it work with some kiddos, getting them on a bus every day, getting them here to maybe take an excelled math class in 7th grade, that type of thing. It'd be nice to just have them walk across the hall and not, you know, have to get on a bus to do that. I know some kids are going to struggle. Ms. Tammy was the first one to advocate for those kids when we got together in our stakeholder group and say some kids will struggle. We get that. We understand that. We really implore you as parents to talk to Ms. Tammy about the transition plans. We want to put those together. We have confidence in that WEB program for mentors. Really think hooking up 8th graders with 6th graders as mentors is going to work really well, just like our high schoolers. So we're confident that that's going to be a wonderful support for them as well.
I just wanted to know, I know one of the cons that was mentioned was having supports for students with disabilities, and I guess I just want parents to know and understand that the same services that your children are getting if they have an IEP, they're getting here. Like, you know, you have Miss Marion over there, you have me over here, we have the OT speech PT that, you know, like that all comes along with them. They still have their IEPs with their IEP meetings, and so we have those same supports. So I don't want you to feel like your kids are going to lose supports coming here.
We also have life skills program here as well, so that if, you know, they're classroom kiddos, you know, they're going to have the life skills support here as well, so that doesn't lose.
On your support structure, so like mine has an IEP and she has stuff set up. So she does need still some support and some assistance. We have, with Nurse Rebecca and spending a lot of time over her years, we're really good. And we're really nervous about that level of transition, and she needs to be independent. We're not independent yet. I really thought I had one more year to kind of get there. If we make this move, I don't have that year to get there.
So she would probably certainly be a student that Nurse Rebecca and Nurse Minette could work together here in the next couple of months to help them transition be a little bit smoother and have her get to know Nurse Minette a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't know, like, you know, what the ins and outs are, but yeah, I can understand that concern. But she'd be a kid that we'd help with that transition a little bit more.
One of those plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that we can make it individualized, why it's an individualized plan. And we students that, you know, were very involved with the nurse or have like a seizure disorder or something like that, and we've done extra transition stuff with them to get them over so that they do feel comfortable, you know, if they have a green team over there, they're gonna have one here, you know, that kind of thing, but those are all things that, like, if you can come and meet with me, then I can make sure that the right people talk to you, so you feel good about her coming, you know what I mean, so, yeah, it's good, that's why we were wanting parents to come talk to us.
I can speak personally on this. You know, my son, multiple disabilities, physical, emotional, learning. When he came to this school, he soared, and it makes me so proud as a father that he, you know, he was that kid that he's not ready. He needs support. He needs, and he ended up saying, no, I'm good. I got this. So I do have confidence in the staff to really meet the needs of our kids.
I have one more, I don't even have a child coming here, but you know those forms that you want the parents to fill out with the child? Could the teachers fill those out as well?
With the plans,
Yeah.
that's something that, you know, Miss Tammy's definitely going to get teacher input
Yeah.
on that as well.
'Cause sometimes what the parents see
Yep.
is not, you know what I mean? Sometimes we see more.
Yeah, we didn't want to make it so formal that it was like, you know, an
Yeah.
SST team and all that. I
No,
think it
no.
needs to be informal. Parents approach us for it, and then we'll get whoever needs to be involved in some of those decisions. Mr. Pelletier, a question?
No,
Good.
I'm good to go.
Mr. Pelletier, you do have the unique, perspective of being a teacher in a pre-K to 12 school.
Yeah, that's wisdom.
What are your thoughts
So
about?
what was really awesome about it is what you said earlier, is that I thought a lot of the older students stepped up and were helping and mentoring. Especially, it was fun to watch in the cafeteria with students that were helping younger students at the cafeteria. And I just think it's, it makes for a stronger school and a stronger community. That's my belief, and what I've seen at Wisdom, I think it can happen here as well. So,
This is a school that celebrates success. We have our Ways of the Warrior celebrations. We have our Circle of Warriors. Cow, I was thinking cow. And we really embrace, you know, celebrating students that embody the core values. And I think the kids really buy into it. I'm not lying when I say that, you know, this school is a well-oiled machine. Do we have some issues? Yes. You know, I'm not going to paint. We have some issues. We have, you know, some kids will. I'm in the hallway where all the kids walk by to go to lunch, back and forth, and some of the language is colorful sometimes. We have some of that. I get it, but you have a top-notch staff that are definitely going to look out for your kids. I can guarantee that 100%. Don't let me down. Any other questions, folks? All right, none being, I'm going to turn it to the board if they want to take action on this. Sorry to put you on the spot, Tanya.
It's okay. So, board, I don't know if we want to have a discussion, any discussions?
Otherwise, we'll take motion.
Then, I want to make a motion to consider approving moving sixth grade from the FTES to VR. Motion, do you have a second? Right? Rory
Rory.
seconded. So I guess, take a vote, all those in favor?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Folks, thank you so much. Listen, if you have questions when you get home, my email is on the website, or you can email any of the folks here. Please email me your questions. If you have concerns still, please come in, talk to me. I can't make guarantees, but at least I can hear you, and we can make adjustments. A lot of these things that we put into play were based on your survey responses. Individualized plan, that was not on our radar. The WEB program was not on our radar, but because you guys shared those concerns, I didn't even know that we had the mixed phys ed classes until some of you let us know that my kiddo is in the high school class for phys ed. You know, we can only correct it when we know what the issues are. So please, please reach out if you have further questions. Thank you so much for coming. Have a good night.